Hi, third grade. Okay, we are moving on to something called a bonus unit. And the reason it's a bonus unit is because we're not really focusing in on any of the 6 syllable types. So remember, in the English language, there are 6 syllable types. There is the closed syllable, which we've spent a lot of time on. You've been doing closed syllable since you have been in the 1st grade. But in the 3rd grade, the big takeaway with a closed syllable was the one-to-one-to-one. Well, a couple of things to review. The TCH digraph was one of the things that we talked about with the one-to-one-to-one, with the closed syllable. A that sounded like an ah, like in squash or wash. And then the biggest new thing that you learned concerning a closed syllable was the one-to-one-to-one. Remember, one vowel, one syllable, one consonant, one syllable, one vowel, one consonant after the vowel. That's it. Remember, it's a short vowel sound. And then we spent a lot of time talking about how you change the spelling when you add suffixes to the one-to-one-to-one word. We moved on from the closed syllable to the vowel consonant E syllable. With this syllable type, we really didn't learn anything new other than how to add suffixes to the vowel consonant E. We learned that if you add a vowel suffix, you drop the E. So that's 2 out of the 6 that we've talked about. So we're going to take a little break from a syllable type, and we are going to talk about something called a prefix. Something called a prefix. What do you think a prefix is? Have you ever heard of the word prefix? I'm going to clean my board. I'm going to come back to you. Think about that. Have you ever heard of prefix? Does that look similar to something we've talked about before? Okay. So if you look at that word prefix, it looks very similar to the word suffix. So what are suffixes and prefixes? Suffixes and prefixes are letters, one letter or more than one letter, that are added to a word, a base word or a root word. And the prefix and suffix changes the meaning of that word. So, suffixes, letter or letters, added to the end of the word, and it changes the meaning of that word. So what do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? Well, if I have the word pencil, this means I have one pencil. One pencil. If I add the suffix s, that changes that one pencil to more than one pencil. Changes the meaning. Here's a word jump. So a word jump means I can jump from place to place, right? I jump. If I add the suffix y, I've now changed that word to jumpy. So maybe if you're nervous about something, you have to be in, maybe you're going to be in a school play, or maybe you're going to ride a new roller coaster for the first time. You might be feeling jumpy. Your whole body might be feeling like it's jumpy. A little similar to jump, right? Similar, but not quite the same. In fact, it takes jump, which is a verb, and by adding that Y, a verb is changed to an adjective. The part of speech changes. So you might say, well, Mrs. D, jumpy and jump are pretty similar. You are correct. They're similar. But that Y does change that word from a verb to an adjective. So we also talked about vowel suffixes. Remember, a vowel suffix starts with a vowel, so able, er, ing. We talked about consonant suffixes. Right? Full, less, all review. We've spent so much time on suffixes over the past few weeks. So then what's a prefix? Because prefix looks kind of the same. It has that fix in there, right? But then it has this, actually has a prefix in it. A prefix, similar to the suffix in the sense that it is letter or letters added. Here's the difference. Prefixes are added to the beginning of a word. That, my friends, is the difference. Okay? Added to the beginning. Notice I doubled that N. Did anyone notice I doubled that N? Because begin is a one-to-one-to-one. Okay. Letters added to the beginning of a word that changes the meaning of a word. So, third grade, for the next 2 weeks, we are going to learn about the most common prefixes in our language that we use. Something else that I really want you to remember is this base word or root word. The base word or root word is the word that you add the prefix and suffixes to. Something else to take away? A word can have both a suffix and a prefix. Remember how we talked about you could add 2 suffixes to a word? Remember, you can add 2 suffixes to a word? So, for example, teachers. Teach is your base word. If you add the suffix er, one who does, and then more than one, making that plural, you can have 2 suffixes onto a base word. This is the root word or base word. Sometimes it's used interchangeably, base word and root word. You can't have 2 prefixes. I will tell you that. You cannot have 2 prefixes, but you can have a prefix and a suffix. And we'll get more into that. So the first prefix we're going to cover today, we're only going to cover one today because I really want you just to understand what a prefix is. Remember, a prefix comes, it's a letter or letters that come before a word that change the meaning of the word. So the first most common prefix in the English language is un, un. And un means not or the opposite of. So right now, take a minute or two. Do you know right now a word that has the prefix un? Can you think of a word that has the prefix un in it. Now, one thing, third grade, you can't add prefixes to just any word, right? You can't add, like I can't say unteacher, right? That doesn't make sense. So think of a word that you know that has un in it. I'm thinking of a couple. Untied. If your shoes are not tied, they are untied. So if your shoes are not tied, they are untied. Now, in this case, third grade, trying to focus this for you, your base word is tie, your suffix is ed, and your prefix is un. Untied means not tied. Do you know that word? Unhealthy. Eating sugar, a lot of it is unhealthy. What's my base word? My base word is health. Y is actually a suffix, a vowel suffix that's added to health to change it from a noun to an adjective. And un is the prefix meaning not healthy. So if you are unhealthy, it is unhealthy to eat a lot of sugar. What about this word? That word is? Now in this case, third grade, Y is not a suffix. Y is actually part of the word. Happy, happy. If you are unhappy, you are not happy. The third grade teachers are very unhappy that we are not back in school. We want to be back in school. We are not happy. And the last one, this is a vowel consonant E. You know what that word is? Third grade, I'm sorry, this is not focusing. There we go. You should have said unsafe. This is a vowel consonant E. And then the prefix, this is our base word, safe. Just like happy was our base word there. Un is our prefix meaning not. So today, in today's lesson, we did a quick review of our closed syllables and our vowel consonant E syllables. We talked about how we're taking a break from syllable types, and we are learning about prefixes, which a prefix is a letter or letters added to the beginning of a word to change the meaning of a word. Good job, third grade.